Every time I flow, I pray I steady glow. Trying to make it from a city where talent can come and go. They didn't know the road isn't made of gold. I'm a ambassador of this bird life, learning while I'm living, needing wisdom of king protecting his kingdom. Funny,
Dying to create. What episode is this? 7, 8.
That's amazing.
It's 8, right?
No, it's 7.
No, Nobunaga's 7.
Nobunaga's 6. Mondays are 5.
Okay.
7.
7.
Number of completion.
Number of completion.
It's a God number.
You know, this might be our last episode, you know?
Really?
You never know.
Nah.
Are we done?
We just started, man. What do you mean by done?
We just started. All right, cool, man. Let me just do a quick welcome. Welcome, everybody. I used to diss a lot of people who say, welcome to my YouTube item, you know? Yeah. Now it's me. But yeah, welcome to the 7th episode of the Dying to Create podcast. My name is Clinton Zoshi. And today on the show podcast, we have a man who needs no introduction. I don't think you need one, man.
In some spaces I might.
When was the last time you were an unknown in a place? Like where it was, we have ASAPH. He's a rapper. You might know him, you might not.
Yeah, it happens.
He's made a song called Mambo. Maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't. He's won a few accolades, you know. He's still upcoming.
Yeah.
Who's ASAPH?
Who's that?
So I don't want to do that because I feel like I preempt you are so many things.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
I am a person, first and foremost,
Obviously.
a human being. That's the most important part. You know what I mean? I think when you put like your titles and what you are, you kind of forget that you're actually a person. You know what I mean? So I am a person. I am someone who really loves Bulawayo. You feel me? I'm someone who really loves young people and just hope I can represent where I'm from and spread positivity to young people the best way I can through all the things that I do, whether it's music or if I get on a platform or whatever I do, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I get that. I mean, that's a diplomatic answer.
It's a diplomatic answer.
It's not a rapper's answer.
Yeah, we'll get into the flexing later.
It's not an I'm him.
Yeah, we'll get into the flexing later. We'll get into the flexing later.
Yeah, I don't want to preempt because you have all this, you have the Mambos, the big Mofu, the whatnots, but people forget that there's also the person behind ASAPH. And I think you're one of the most polarizing rappers of the last few years. Yeah. Because of just how your career has been going. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about you. Yeah. That's why I was like, you know what? Let me hear who you think you are.
I think I am. I get you. I mean, people have a lot of things to say about everything. You know what I mean?
Especially if it's popping, if it's something that's...
If it's popping, if it's controversial, if they know it's going to make them trend, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's something that...
Do you do things to be controversial or to be polarizing?
I don't think I do. To be honest, I don't think I do. If I... Sometimes, maybe like on Twitter, I'll feel like, let me say something. I'll get like so shy and delete it, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
You keep it in your drafts.
If I say something like crazy, I'll be like, yo, let me delete that.
So that's like, isn't that like censoring yourself, protecting your brand?
No, I mean,
all that?
It's growing. You know what I mean? You can get a new piece of information and change how you felt. You can get like, you think about it a bit more and say, actually, I don't agree with what I just said. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
Sure, I get that. You know, before we started, we were just talking about how a certain artist or music is received better than other music because it's a different language.
Yeah.
What do you feel like, what's our identity as hip-hop in Zim? You know, because in the US, you have hip-hop is based on, it has a whole lot of things that come into it. There's gangsters, there's drug dealers, there's all that. It's all part of the identity. What is ours? What is it that is making it difficult for some people to connect to it?
I get you. I think like there's a lot of misunderstandings and misconceptions. You feel me? Yeah. First, you need to get to thinking about what is hip hop. You know what I mean? I think hip hop is a culture of self-expression. when they first made it. That's why, and it's a culture that can really, you can be adopted into the culture. You know what I mean? That's why it didn't stay just a New York thing. It spread to other cities, then it spread to other races. White people started rapping, spread to other countries. So first and foremost, we have to get that thing out of our heads. So, okay, hip hop is just an American thing. You know what I mean? It's just it's something that's foreign to us, because it's a new youth culture that young people, it's self-expression. Come be part of this, express yourself in how you dress and how you talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And within that, you are able to bring your own personal identity. So now looking at where we are in 2024, you see what I'm saying? Like culture and urbanization and where the globe is, globalization, like urban culture is now just like one thing. Obviously, we have little bits and pieces of our own traditional culture that kind of pops up, but it's still kind of like one global blanket, because there are gangsters in Zimbabwe. There are drug dealers in Zimbabwe. You know what I mean?
It's just that I sometimes get a little confused by what exactly is it that people are trying to push. Because right now I feel like struggle is the biggest attraction when it comes to our music. I mean, you listen to someone like Baga or Same Flow or even Holy 10, their biggest songs.
Are you missing Blink 4, man?
About struggle and Blink 4. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's all about, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. So I'm like, is that our identity when it comes to hip hop? Is that what, because that's what's making it pop.
That's part of the identity. It's part of the identity because it's part of what's going on around us. You know what I mean? We're products of our environment to a large extent. So when people go outside, especially like the majority of people, so I guess that's why maybe the majority of people who are Shona speakers relate to that, because it's not rosy in Zimbabwe right now. You know what I mean? So when another style comes in that's talking about what was going on at Cosmo, not many people would relate. But still, there are lots of people who are partaking in that other type of life. I'm sure even Baga goes out. I'm sure even, you know what I mean, and have a good time. It's not all just sorrow, you see what I'm saying? But I guess maybe it's just the relatability of which, you know, like that whole thing where they say the consumer or the listener doesn't know what they like until you introduce it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm just like, it's been a lot of misconceptions around what hip hop is and what hip hop can be and what hip hop can allow.
Because that's something you think about a lot. Like when I asked you who you are, you talked about Bulawayo being a part of your identity and how you like to represent it. Do you think about that when you make your music? Like, I'm trying to make sure people know I'm from here. Is that a part of your identity?
Yeah, it is. I really think it is. It just comes out, you know what I mean? Unless like I have to put in effort to like say, okay, I usually just find myself whatever verse, like the city comes up like somewhere, somehow.
Maybe it also just comes from the era that you're from. There's a lot of rap. I rap my hood, I rap my city.
Yeah, like, maybe. I mean, looking at like everything that Bulawayo is, you just wish they could be like someone that's really shining and proudly owning being from here. Which could hopefully like inspire someone else to say, yo, that person's from here, or the way he represents for here, maybe I could do something too. It doesn't have to be rapping, but you know what I mean?
I get that. I feel like though, isn't that like your place to be occupying right now?
Not really. I mean, it's yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And I think I do. You know what I'm saying? I think I do. Yeah, I think I do.
Because I was talking to Saint the other day when you were there, and I was like, I feel like the fan in me is mad at you guys because like what you said in Controller made me do it. It's like the people are crying out, your ASAPH Harare is winning, bro. Where you at? Where are our Avengers, bro? You know? So it's interesting when you say you think you do, because to someone on the outside, it's like, yo, the other city's killing us, man. Where's ASAPH? Where's Indigo? Where are the hits? We want you to, you know, where's the excitement and the music? So what makes you feel like you're him?
As far as maybe hip hop is concerned, even to a large extent, music. for the past couple of years. I don't think, unless I'm wrong or I missed something, I don't think there's anyone else who has probably achieved or successfully ran and made sure that they are representing where they're from. You know what I mean? Being from here, reaching certain platforms or reaching certain levels or stages. You know what I mean? Maybe I could count Sandra and Night Freak recently.
What about Kelvin?
Well, he's dearly departed. He's no longer with us. You know what I mean? So
No. Mangena. Yeah.
I think he still has a long way to go.
Still has a long way to go.
He's really doing it, but I feel like he still has a long way to go. And he's my bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing the whole Hulumende thing, and I'm not sure. Did they have any Bulawayo rappers on that, or that was just?
It was just him, I think.
You feel me? And the track is called Hulumende. I hope that was not his idea. You know what I mean? So it's just like he could have done more to really say, okay, you know, because in my mind, I don't know what they were thinking. In my mind, I thought this was like, this should have been the Bulawayo fire emoji. You know what I mean? I feel it was a missed opportunity. So for me, I think like I've really done my best to make sure not only me, but other artists that I work with, I do my best to say, yo, here's a platform, or yo, let's do this and go there. So I don't think there's anyone else that has kind of done it to the level that, like, people are doing it.
The level that you have
to that level, I don't think there's anybody else. Yeah.
I feel you. Back to the Hulumene thing. Made you feel a type of way?
Not saying that I wanted to be on it, but just from a perspective, that was an opportunity that could have benefited where he's from. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm sure they have a plan in their camp.
Decision, maybe.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure they have a plan, especially to make it pop or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, come on, man. We're trying to build something for the burg to represent. So, but not everyone is inclined. Not everyone is forced to. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I felt it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Do you feel pressure? Like when people say, yo, bro, we need you to be fighting for the city. You're not fighting for us. Since you say everyone is not inclined, is that something you cherish? Is that something you welcome?
I feel pressure sometimes. Then I remind myself that I don't have to. You know what I mean? Like the pressure comes, especially if a lot of people are in your inbox, in your face, saying, how far? You've been hiding. So the pressure comes, but then I remind myself like, no. You don't need to have pressure because I'm just one part of the whole machine. Do you feel like, does the fan in you feel pressure?
The fan in me feel pressure
to not celebrate and be excited about, because it's not like music is not coming out or moves are not being made.
Yeah.
Do you not feel pressure? Okay, from what is out there, shouldn't the listeners or the city be excited about what is already there?
I don't feel pressure. I however feel like we have a lot of unwilling participants as listeners. Like our listeners are not, they are so, what's the word, man? Don't want to use the word docile. I don't want to use the word gouache at the same time.
Maybe critical.
Like it goes beyond critical.
Okay.
They're just not willing to accept. You know, do you feel accepted by the city?
Sometimes.
Do you?
Sometimes.
Like sometimes. Like it has to be a supernatural event for you to feel the love from the city.
Yeah.
But just a few kilometers away in another city, it doesn't have to be exceptional talent.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, oh, he's doing this. Oh, he's popping. I'm sure there's a lot of whack, quote unquote, stuff out there. Not that anyone's whack. People are entitled to it. But that demographic of fans are willing to gather around a person who's pushing, a person who has an idea, a person who's trying to do something. But I feel like a lot of people are reluctant. They do show love. There are people who show love, but I feel like the general populace and some of the people who have an influence, who could have an influence in upbringing the music industry, sometimes don't show the energy that they need to.
Yeah. I think it comes from like, if you look up that side, H-Town, surrounding cities, they are all they have. You know what I mean? Shona speakers. They're all they have.
What do you mean? Like
they can't look to another country and say, okay, that kind of is our vibe. So you know what I mean? They can't compare themselves to anyone else. So here it's a South Africa thing. You know what I mean? So the culture, the lingo, the dressing.
So it's deeper than just the music.
You know what I mean? So someone would be like, why should I
beg to differ because Mapiano is putting pressure on the music in Harare, because there was a time when people were like, yo, Zim dancehall is going down, hip hop is coming up.
Yeah.
And then the dancehall guys were like, nah, we got this. But look now, hip hop is dominating and the lock drum is just everywhere, even in Zim dancehall.
I mean, I guess because it's everywhere, even in like the whole world, you know what I mean? But they're not really on dancehall. I mean, they're not really on Amapiano like that.
Amapiano is charting, it's dominating the charts.
They can take
taking elements of
they can take elements of it, and you're not gonna see a Harare artist with the Amapiano song.
I'm just saying.
I mean, that day, Tanto Wavy did do an Amasu.
Yes. That Tanto is really representing it. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie at all. I think, but it's not something that just assimilates well into their culture. You know, it assimilates better this side. You know, that's my point.
Why is it that Mapiano songs are on top of the charts, not Zim dancehall? Maybe Holy. I think Holy 10 Canada, because there was a time whereby the top 10 hits, it was just Oscar Mbo.
Yeah.
Or the guy who dropped the new album.
Yeah.
Then after Holy 10, that's when you kind of saw, but only Holy 10 was able to disrupt that.
Where you're not getting me is because you're saying Oscar Mbo, that's a South African act. So obviously South Africa will definitely have influence on Zim as a whole. South Africa has influence on the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm talking about that culture getting into like the artists, getting into like the people, just as they are. There are no Amapiano artists that are popping up from H-Town, really. It's not a culture thing.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
They'll listen to it, they'll vibe to it because it's everywhere. That's my point.
They're really trying to switch away from that because with how Zim dancehall was, like people just didn't like that Zim dancehall was too degenerate at some point. Even hip hop, because in Zim hip hop doesn't really focus on drugs. So hip hop was kind of better in a sense. It was more, how do I say it, upper class or more tasteful compared to Zim dancehall. That's why we're saying Mapiano kinda take that mantle.
You're misunderstanding my point.
I hear you, but I think what he's saying is that I have totally lost that.
My point is, right? My point is, for Harare urban culture, for Harare artists, they can't look to any other countries and try and derive identity from. I'm talking about identity. They can listen to a song and vibe to it, but they won't really, it's another language they can't even speak, can't even hear. So it would be a struggle for them to really say, this Amapiano has become part of our identity.
Yeah.
But for Bulawayo, it's easy for us to hear Kwaito, Amapiano house, take it, and you know what I mean? Even if there's no artist from here doing like...
I mean, it's not there's not a lot of people from Bulawayo dominating in Harare. That's the thing. Like a lot of the tastemakers in Harare, like Sky and Strobo, those guys are from Bulawayo.
Like who?
Sky and Strobo, Lenny and Marcus. Those people are from Bulawayo. A lot of the people are actually dictating the taste, curating events, They're from Bulawayo for the most part. So they're kind of...
But they're not in the mass market. They're in a kind of niche market.
What ASAPH is saying is that why the difference is there is because in Harare, the metric that they use to measure quality, they use to measure entertainment
is themselves.
Yeah.
You
know what I'm saying?
That's the point.
But here the difference is you come in here, you do a piano adjacent song, they'll
compare you to Oscar
Mbo, Kabza. So that's why
you're not gonna win that way.
Yeah, that's the point that I'm making.
Saying. That's why it pops more that side, because they're like,
this is what we have. This is ours. So if someone wants to do something here, they'll refer to the original. Like, wait, nah, that's not it, or something. You know what I mean?
If we're that close to Joburg, why don't Bulawayo artists? Why isn't there like a direct connection from Bulawayo to Harare? No, from Bulawayo to Joburg, I mean. Why isn't there that connection?
Even if you go there, you now have to compete with the actual South Africans.
Oh,
you get me? And by the time they get to...
Is that your question?
Is that your question?
Is that...
I mean,
your question is more of why
don't we focus on
like why isn't there that synergy?
that alliance? Why isn't there? Because
competition?
they asked that alliance in a sense whereby people in Joburg and people in Bulawayo join forces and then they'll be like, you know what, screw Harare, let's just take over this thing.
Because of the border, I guess.
Because of the border, yeah.
We are Zimbabweans at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, because people have pride in their culture, pride in their heritage, their space, their country, like that.
I mean, we're connected in almost every single way possible. Our food is from there. Our music is from there. Why not
just
collaborate?
Take it all the way. You feel me?
Because even with
like
movies in Zim, right? Movies in Zim, like the movie China, even the other one, those movies were actually produced by South Africans, actually, in Zim.
Yeah, I guess that's something to look into.
There's something to look into.
I guess we're also like victims of our own taste or quality. We love quality so much. We are always trying to overlook the effort and
I think it's deeper than that. It goes into now social political discussions to say why is it the way it is. You know what I mean? Because like another thing I'd noticed for someone in Mashringo, for someone in Chekutu, Kadoma, they are all going to H-Town to achieve their dreams, to actualize whatever. You find out that most of there's a lot of people that are actually from Mashringo that you think are from Harare. You know what I mean? But because the language is kind of similar. Like here, people are not many people are flooding into Bulawayo saying, this is where I can make it. You'd rather go to Joburg. So people from Plumtree, people from where, people would rather leave the country and take that talent and that knowledge outside. That's something I think.
But as Bulawayo, we kind of have that advantage where we can directly tap into Joburg, because a lot of Bulawayo artists, fun fact, like if you're in Bulawayo, right, and you're doing development content, your biggest market is actually Joburg, not Harare.
Yeah, because you notice even the instrumentation,
because it's plug and play,
guys and items.
But I think it would be a thing where you won't. It'll be a bit more difficult though.
Why don't we have that upper hand? Because we're
Zimbabwe.
A lot of our photographers, they go to Joburg, like Remy, they dominate in SA. Why don't we?
Don't say dominate because they are really good.
Or they're putting in work. They're putting in work.
I mean, Gorilla, right? He did pictures for what's her name again? Uncle Waffles. Like the pictures were just good. And then Remy, from my understanding, he was actually in charge of a team that covered Ultra, the biggest event. Remy shoots.
I'm not saying definitely.
I think there's a bit of a difference when it comes to artists and music.
Music and photography.
Then there's LA Beats, who's producing for Big Zulu. From Bulawayo.
You're comparing two things that I think are different. Like when it comes to rendering a service, and no matter where you come from, people will be like, no, that service is cool. But I think with being an artist, it's like there's a personality that people have to buy into and people have to rally behind. And sometimes people won't be willing to rally behind someone that doesn't totally represent them. So it's easier for me to pay for a photographer who's from another place than for me to say I'm gonna go to this. You know what I mean? Of something that's already.
He's taking a picture of me. You see what I'm saying?
But
because I
think another connection I can make is like look at Hollywood or look at the music industry in the States. You find that a lot of people come from Australia, New Zealand, the UK. They're contributing to Hollywood and Hollywood vice versa. But in Bulawayo, we're kind of like this island. We have an outlet. Like I'm just saying, like someone from Australia, like your Chris Hemsworth or Christopher Nolan from the UK, they can dominate in Hollywood because like there's that.
They're wise. They all speak English. Maybe I'm just generalizing.
There are a lot of things that
even Idris Elba
in Africa.
Idris Elba and Damien Idris can be acting as Americans. It's not even about white or black. Like there's just that connection where but UK and Australia's not popping. I can always go to the UK or I can go to Hollywood. But in Bulawayo, there's
language barriers, country barriers. I think that's
with Joburg, there's no barrier. If you're from Bulawayo, there's no language barrier, and from my understanding, you don't even need a visa to go to Joburg and work.
So what's your
You're
point?
talking. I think we're talking about kind of two different things.
Why-
What's your point?
Why are we even looking to Harare in the first place when Harare doesn't really want us?
Because number one, we're not looking to ourselves. Number two, going the Joburg route, I think would take a bit longer as an artist, for someone from Bulawayo. I think as an artist, it would take them a bit longer. There are lots of artists from Bulawayo who are in South Joburg, right? But can you name them, like, to say they're actually dominating, as you said? You know what I mean?
I mean, they're selling.
you can't-
They're making
I
a little bit. They are. I would say, like, at least if they're in Joburg, they can actually make money from the music and do a side hustle that pays. It's
I feel
actually
you.
much more straightforward compared to here. Here, sort of like a dead end.
Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, the music industry is not that simple. It's not as simple as you put it.
I'm just saying,
Because
if you're
getting into a structure, when you go to essay, you're getting into a structure that's already set. It's different from photography, where you can go start taking pictures, post them on Instagram, and people are like, "Oh, that's nice." You can start rendering these services from your own house, from your own structure. But when you go to essay, you now need to get into a structure, and they now need to be able to say, okay, there's the in this genre, there's Big Zulu, there's such and such and such and such, and you have to look a certain way and represent a certain culture.
I get that,
speak
but
a certain way.
if you're in a functioning economy, as an artist, you do need to do other things. Like in a functioning economy, as a musician, you can still do your side hustle and things will pop. But in Bulawayo, because if you do it, because there's not that much money, you can't really side hustle in Bulawayo compared to
I think
Harare.
you can, in a way. I mean,
Too slow.
yeah, true.
too
But
slow.
but you can.
those
You know
are
what I mean?
It's too slow, man.
I guess it's something
yeah.
worth thinking about.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought though of leaving, either going to Harare or?
A couple of times I did stay in Harare for a couple of months. I just felt unless there's a totally well-structured system, you know what I mean? That whole special thing will kind of fade away.
What do you mean?
Because for the longest time, I really feel like artists from Bulawayo have an advantage when you perform in Harare, especially if you're good, I think, because they are easy to accept you. You know, they have their own politics in, like, you know what I mean? But for someone coming from outside, I don't think they see you as much of like competition. So you're able to shine, they're able to give you
So
You
you're
know what I
saying
mean?
like
I hope I'm saying it the right
it
way.
seems like it's much more attractive if you look like a shiny toy from afar.
from afar. Then now when you're caught up in the mix of their politics,
You're not like just one of
caught up,
them.
now you're just one of them. You're just
But
any other.
is that a good way to look at things from a business perspective?
I mean, that's why for me, I was thinking like, if I do get like a proper structure
Yeah.
where I go there and I don't want to move somewhere else just to hustle and struggle the same way. You know what I mean? I'd rather move and get into a system or something. I don't know.
So you never thought, even when you were still with Jeff Jim, you never thought about moving to SA?
I did think about it. I just maybe thought, yeah, I think for me, there's this whole thing of really wanting to represent. I'm trying to figure out the right words to say it, because I feel like they're signing a Zim artist, you know what I mean? So moving there, especially without a really strong structure, might just get me drowned out, you know what I mean? And I didn't want to go through all that. If I was able to be here, get called out, because there was a whole time like getting called to
Do
some stuff outside, this side, whatever, and I can come back. I don't see the problem with that. You know what I mean? If I'm able to have something that is keeping me busy here, a side hustle or a side business or something, and then when I get a booking or I get some type of partnership, I up and go do that and come back, I would do that. I think maybe it's just something that's not.
Is there some fear involved? Like,
Could it be fear?
Could it be fear? And fear of what exactly?
What exactly? I'm not sure if it's fear. I don't want to think that it's fear. I guess it's not something that has just been revealed to me. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a door that has just been revealed to me that just feels like this is something. Let me do this. You know what I mean? I feel like I can really do a lot at the right time from being here. I haven't really 100% lost faith in where I'm coming from.
And I hear that. You are this guy, you've been in the game this long, you've done what you've done, scaled the heights that you've scaled. Do you still suffer from self-doubt? Let's say like with the SA thing, when I say, why haven't you moved in? Like when we're talking about moving to SA, like I feel like I would be drowned. I feel like you would struggle more to make it to the top. Is there a sense of self-doubt? Like I'm not fit enough to play in this arena?
To play in that arena?
Yeah.
No. Maybe just, if anything, maybe I would say a lack of faith. Not saying that I'm just trying to, you know what I mean, explore the ideas.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be a lack of faith to say I'll go there and, you know what I mean, then what? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know like not a lot, but I just know a couple of people who've gone out there, disappeared, you feel me? And
yeah, true.
You are now wondering, what are you really doing? You know what I mean? There are some stories where I know, okay, this person went out there and really got it cracking. Not knowing their personal lives and what's going on day to day, just seeing from afar, you know what I mean? So I don't want to make a decision based on what I'm seeing from afar. I guess maybe I would need someone to really let me know, like, oh, I'm surviving like A, B, C, D. And then I do this. You
need all the information.
You know what I mean? Then I can say, okay, let me do that. But other than that, I have really tasted a season of like a lot can be done from here. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. I was speaking with someone who was like, it's actually better when you're close by. You don't want the situation where they have to think twice and say, we have to bring ASAPH from Bulawayo. You know what I mean? But I guess when the product is hot and people want it, they'll really do that.
They'll come and get it.
Yeah. So I think I haven't lost faith in that. Maybe next year I'll have a different opinion and say, I'm actually moving next week. But for now, I think I'm here. It could be a season.
Don't you have a fear of falling off, quote unquote, because the game moves so fast, bro?
Yeah.
1 minute, it's this guy popping. A few months later, we've forgotten it's this guy popping.
Yeah.
Like when you mention like, maybe next year, maybe I'll think about it a bit more. Don't you have a fear of, what if I don't have enough juice?
I mean, for me, the way I look at it all, right, is based around my calling, my destiny, my God-given task to fulfill on earth, you know what I mean? And as long as I'm doing that, I don't really fear falling off. Of course, you have that thing in your heart where you're like, hey, I used to do all this and everyone used to love me in this way.
Yeah.
But as long as I feel I'm still accomplishing what's in my heart, you know what I mean? Or what God has said, this is what I need you to do. And as long as I'm still alive, I haven't fallen off. In my understanding.
You seem to be burning with something to say.
I feel like it doesn't have to be that way because right now we're not in a proper system. That's the main problem. Like it's always I have to be in the spotlight. I have to fall off. In a proper system, I don't think you can fall off because there's songwriting. Like so for someone of your ability, you can actually write songs for other people, and that's how a lot of artists, quote unquote, fallen off,
there's
or
so
quote
many
unquote
ways to make money within the music space.
Yeah, in a proper system, and then there's remixes, there's sampling, and you can't really fall off. But it's just that right now we're in a system that is dog eat dog, survival of the fittest. It's almost like with the Just Signal thing, like the Just Signal song had 6 million views, right? Yeah. And the Charambas could have claimed 100% of it if they wanted.
Yeah.
For a song that came out 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I
think I look at it from like a totally different.
Like when you talk about stuff like calling and purpose, is that something you had coming into the game, or it's something that you've gained after learning?
I think it's something that I had coming into the game. It's something that I kind of lost sight of, and then had to remind myself, you know what I mean, of actually what am I doing this for? What do I make music for? For me, it's not really. That's why like. People must have side hustles and all that other things. It's not just to make money or to trend or to, you know what I mean, be the most popular, most famous. There's message that I'm trying to put out. You know what I mean? There's something that I'm trying to put out into the world that
When did you lose sight of it?
Probably after 2019. Probably after 2019, I think. That's when I started to I think, kind of lose sight of actually what am I doing this for? Who am I? What do I want? What does God want? What am I trying to do?
What was happening in 2019, by the way? Pre-COVID.
Yeah, it was pre-COVID. Yeah. I think towards the end of 2019. I think I really started doing things.
You had got
based
signed
on no, not yet.
Got signed in 2020.
Yeah, I think I was now doing things based on other factors, and instead of like not really pressure, but just other factors. You know, when you're now excited, you know what I mean, and not every window is a window.
No, you were excited because you knew the deal was coming, or
not only the deal, bro. I feel like because there was, I mean, COVID really did stop a lot of things.
Yeah, it did.
But there was a lot of things that were like propelling me to go continental before the
whole thing,
the deal even came.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So I think in all of that, I started to lose sight of saying, I started to lose sight of saying, what actually am I doing this for? So even in the music, I started to see like, because I think People's Rapper, that was the last project where I really had message and I really knew who I was and I really had a message to kind of put out. Yeah. And then it now became, about yo. Like
now it became about you sold out.
I sold myself out, bro. I sold God out, bro. You know what I mean?
And now I want to know how you sold out, bro. What do you mean you sold out?
No, just by doing things where like,
because you've been at Def Jam. Now everybody watching is going to be like the Illuminati.
That's what I'm saying. It was even before that, bro.
Yeah.
I do appreciate every season because every season teaches you a lot.
True.
You know what I mean? But in just seeing myself, you know what I mean? Not even just with the music. That's how I maybe talk to people, my relationships, my interactions. I was just starting to not see the main focus or the person that I am. You know what I mean? So yeah.
All right. All right, cool. Nah, I get it. The focus was lost. So now how are you bringing it back? How long were you lost?
I don't know, bro. I think I would catch it, lose it, catch it, lose it. It was a fight.
It's a fight. Like
yeah. It's
I
a
want to
fight.
go back. I know I'm not supposed to be here or doing this,
I think it's a fight. You know what I mean? And so how I'm trying to get back to myself is by getting back to God. You know what I mean? Like really praying, really spending time in the Word, just trying to find out who He says I am and what He wants me to do. You know what I mean? I feel like that is the most important thing any human being can do, not only if you're in music, even just as a teacher, even just as someone who sells tomatoes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like really get back to understanding what does God put me on this earth to do? You know, what does He say I am? What does He say I'm not? You know what I mean? So for me, that's what am I not? I'm not someone who's trying to do things just to trend or just to because everyone is doing it, because everyone expects me to. You know what I mean? That's really not who I am. I'm not someone who doesn't think. You know what I mean?
Think before you make
I really have to think before I make my moves. Think, be intentional. Yeah, I have to be someone who's intentional. I think that's the word. I have to be someone who's intentional.
Are you aware of your power, like your influence?
Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. You know what I mean? I guess there's that thing where you have to remind yourself. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I go and look at like old songs and read through the comment section to remind myself. Say, no, I'm actually. These people like wow. You know what I mean? Because you can go through a season where you're like, dang.
Or younger dudes out there that are rapping because they saw you doing it and killing it.
Yeah, I see it sometimes, but I'll be like, is that because of me or nah? It can't be. It can't be.
You know humility kicks in. Like,
you know what I mean? Because you see something, bro. Like I feel like okay. It might be controversial.
You know, Vault JT did a mambo freestyle before he popped.
But maybe that was because the beat was hot.
It was a diss actually. It was
dissing the whole everyone from here.
From here.
But it was inspired though.
Yeah,
because that was an impactful moment.
Yeah. Well, it's facts, man. It was facts.
So like I've always been someone who really writes for Bulawayo brands, right? So there are times where I'll see like those brands or certain things now being really accepted nationally. And in my mind, I'll be like, okay. I kind of see like my influence or something. I don't know, you know what I mean? But it's calm, it's cool.
No, it is. That's the power that you have.
Yeah.
You know,
or at least being a first, being someone who said, "Oh no, I actually was the first to do that."
Yeah.
And I actually made wearing denim, wearing Richard jeans cool.
Yeah.
I kind of made Shadow Crazy cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of made LVR cool.
Yeah.
Kind of. Not that no one else was doing it. I'm sure there are other people who did it. But I didn't see anyone else doing like something in Friends event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We went to Santon, did a ASAPH and Friends thing. All of a sudden, there's now more like, okay, there's a something in Friends, something in Friends. Not that, but I'm just saying like, okay, cool. I'm kind of showing people it's possible. We can do these things.
Why are you being apologetic about?
Because people have emotions. You know what I mean? You don't want to really, like, you want to be able to say something and not like really just offend people. And I don't want to just come across like I'm just disregarding or disrespecting people's efforts and what they feel like they've accomplished. You know what I mean?
Did you feel like the deal with Def Jam and all of that has happened up until now, but like that period between you getting signed and now has made you a polarizing figure, like I mentioned before? Like, has that really, you know, before Kel passed, he was touting around, he was going to drop an album called The Gifted Most Loved, The Gifted Most Hated Loved One. I feel like you took over that jacket. Do you feel that way? I feel that way.
We feel that way. To be honest, I think it's something that was always there. You know what I mean? It's just that I wasn't. There was Cal. So all the arrows were able to shot at Cal. You know what I mean? All the arrows could be shot at Cal.
Yeah.
And then now when he left, now they can't hate on someone who's dead. So now they just have to love him. So who now do we have to criticize? The next person who's on top. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's always been like that because I'm a guy from Bulawayo rapping in English in Zimbabwe. You know what I mean? Of course you'll be polarized like, who does this guy think he is? You know, there was a time even Cal himself was like, there's no mambo in the Ndebele state. So really that was like, I guess my whole existence was already polarizing. Cause like it was a thing where if I go out, that's something I also had to deal with. Say, if I go out and say I'm representing Bulawayo, right? I'm not Ndebele. You feel me? So is it representation if I win an award? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it? If I win a national award, is it representation? In a way it is, because I'm from the city, but in a way it's not.
It's not.
The fans don't care. I think it's mostly the establishment that makes a big deal out of it. Because both JTs and Koslati CBS, not even the name is not
Tajamuka something.
Yeah.
But he's heavily in that culture and he's rapping in that language. I'm rapping in English. I do sprinkle it here and there, but I'm rapping in 100%.
Now it's a quote unquote international city, international.
I guess that's also the
clearly it's not.
No, but that's like, I get what he's saying, because then Bulawayo is borderless in a sense. You know, since we like to take influence from all these other cultures and stuff surrounding us. So it's not
the fans that are really making a big deal out of it. It's the people up there.
I feel you.
Yeah, it's the people watching.
Unfortunately, and then unfortunately, in a way, if the establishment kind of does that, and you're not seen as much, booked as much, whatever as much, it can end up affecting the fans. Wouldn't you agree?
I'm missing you there a bit. Like,
I mean, you can kind of use that. You can commercialize that thing that the
thing and say, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a bad thing
where the establishment almost props up someone else.
It depends on where you're standing, or because if you go against the establishment, they can snuff you out. Silence you just like that. You get no shows. You get no.
Or even they'll put backing on someone else to make it look like they're kind of putting in more work, doing better, more relevant.
Sounds like something you.
No, it's just an example. It's just an example. Have
So
I
now
experienced
isn't that a
I
call on?
probably have.
Isn't that a call on private individuals to take the mantle now? Because
How do you
But
mean?
the fans are sheep at the end of the day. They need to
Because
be.
the fans eat whatever you feed them.
They need to be
Yeah.
really. I guess maybe what I will say though, the onus is on me. But after Cal died, I don't think that same electricity, that
Is it?
same, you know what I mean?
It's definitely not.
Because it was kind of like, oh damn, we can just die, bro.
What you mean?
and-
Electricity and
No, the excitement, the viv, the like, okay, yeah, we're doing this. Let's really
the
go all
innocence.
out.
the
Innocence.
the verve in
Nah,
who?
not
in
innocence.
the fans or in you.
In me, in what we're doing here. You know what I mean? It was
You don't-
kind of
you
like
feel you need an
disillusioned. Not that I need an opponent. It was
I
kind
use
of
the
like
word opponent loosely.
yeah,
You know, I don't mean like
an energy,
an enemy.
but
No,
an
I mean
energy
like-
to bounce it off.
Yeah, by innocence, I kind of mean that like fresh energy, you know, because usually when someone is
Yeah.
before trauma,
Yeah,
they're
I
bubbling
guess- I
and stuff
guess
like
what
that.
you
They're
mean.
still innocent, but
Because
after
I'm just
that,
saying, like, yo,
Yeah.
someone
You get tainted.
you can just get killed, bro, by someone who probably even knows you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just gonna be summer as usual. You know what I mean? I
Life
guess
goes
it is
on.
life, but I think when I think about it, I haven't been to like counseling or whatever, but like in prayer and me just trying to be self-aware. I think that is one of the things that kind of made me feel like, there's no need to be that excited about all of this, actually. You know
So
what I mean?
that's what I mean. Like you are lacking. I use the word lacking also loosely because
Yeah.
you're lacking that opposing thing from
Not necessarily opposing.
because in your career, like I mean, when you start
reference.
when you are starting, not even when you are starting, you're doing raised in a church setting,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You went to Bible school,
Yeah.
and all that, but still something else was calling.
yeah,
Hip hop was calling,
Yeah.
and it wasn't. You know, so you had this thing to fight.
yeah,
You had this thing to defeat.
yeah,
You had this thing to this hump to get over.
yeah,
You come into hip hop, and the guys that are above you,
yeah,
you have to go above these
Yeah.
guys. And then there's Cal.
yeah,
You now have Cal. He's right there.
Yeah.
As much as there's that brotherly love,
yeah,
for you to be number one, you gotta beat your brother.
yeah,
You lost that brother to fight against.
yeah. I mean, but with that sense, like life goes on,
True.
and there's still other things in my life that I have to fight, that I'm fighting
Yeah.
right now.
True.
So you know what I mean, which means that energy would still be there in a sense. Like, it wasn't. I don't think it was a thing about not having something to oppose, but just the whole tragedy of it all.
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean. It was just the whole
definitely.
tragedy of
Yeah.
it all, because in a sense, leading up to his passing, bro, I had kind of just had a little bit of a edge up.
Of an
You know what I
edge,
mean? I
yeah,
had kind of
yeah.
already was
Yeah.
number one. You know what I mean? But and him being there it's not like we were going back and forth or
Yeah.
anything like that. You know what I mean? But just the tragedy of losing him, especially like that, kind of made me feel like, dang. So, yo, what are we really doing? Is it that important? So people were like only gonna love me when I die. So, you know what I mean? So I guess all of that kind of just like poured water on the flame. You know what I mean? So I had to get to a point of coming back to myself, coming back to what am I doing this for? What did God put in me that He wants me to share to the world? You know what I mean? I'm still here. I still have. I can't let God down. I can't even let Cal down. You know what I mean? I'm sure if he's like watching or whatever, he's like, man, you're chilling, bro. If I was you, bro, I'd be going ham. You know what I mean? Like, so I think like I have to stop being selfish. Have to stop
Selfish in what sense?
in keeping this gift. You know what I mean? In feeling that, okay, because people are saying all this and that about me, I've got the right to be like, well, forget them and just chill. You know what I mean? I mean, I didn't give myself this gift. God is the one who gave me this gift, opened the doors for me to be at a certain position.
Yeah.
So for me to say, man, you guys don't deserve it. It's not my call. You know, it's not my call to say, I'm gonna stop making songs because these people really, they're only gonna love me if I die. They don't even show me respect like that. This
So how long do you plan on keep making songs?
until like, I even believe, bro, like people used to say, how can you balance work and even one song a month, bro, one visual a month, you one song a month, bro. I think is like, even if I get to that point, I will. You know what I mean? But I don't see it ending yet. I still believe like there's a lot that I'm still to do, even outside of music, working with young people. I really want to get into like mentorship. You know what I mean?
How do you? All right. First off, I have a two-parter with that point. Did you have a mentor coming in? Like, did you have a mentor coming up?
Not officially. I had people that I would bounce ideas off of, have conversations here and there, but not like a formal mentor where we, you know what I mean?
You think your path would have been easier with a mentor?
Probably. I think it would have been much more easier. You know what I mean? Just having someone to say, what do you think about this? Someone who's not just your parents, you know, because sometimes your parents can be biased and always just tell you what you want to hear, or always just, yeah. But like someone who you can sit down and actually be like, yo, what about this? What about that? Isn't
it difficult to get a mentor if you're a hip hop artist? Because like it's a dog sport. So even your mentor, you want to get above them, rap you, bro.
And I feel like, you know what I mean? People, that's another misconception we have about hip hop. Like there's so many misconceptions about hip hop. Like before I answer that, and I hope I don't go off on a tangent. Good, man. Like there was a misconception of hip hop that even Orthodox was pushing. You know what I mean? Because I watched this podcast that he did, and he's talking about, you know, and I'm sure a lot of people might have this understanding of what hip hop is. Hip hop is about money. This, that, and the third. You know what I mean? Of which I feel like that's very wrong. You know, hip hop is not really about money. You know what I mean? You can make money from it, but hip hop is not about money. I don't think money is the thing that made hip hop into what it is today. You get me? So when someone is trying to get into hip hop, I don't think money is something that they should consider. What they should consider is self-expression, getting that message that's inside of them out. You know what I mean? It's that culture that you come into and you're like, this is where you're included. Whether you have money, you do not have money, whether you're white, you're black, welcome to this thing called hip hop. What do you have to contribute to it? You know what I mean? That's what I think.
At what point does money become an issue then?
I think money now gets into it when you're now having to learn how to manage what you're making based off of the revenue that your contributions are making. You know what I mean? That's where now the handling the money, when people come and offer you things because they can see in you like, man, yo, Crown, bro, you actually have got something, bro. I think we can actually make a record. And this is the deal that's when it, but from its purest starting point, you know what I mean? For someone who's getting into it, that isn't something that they should say like, money, it is. Without that, you can't be a hip hop artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I actually can.
You can. But someone would be like, I need money for studio, bro.
Yeah, I feel that. You do need money for studio.
Like at what point did you start looking at it as a business? Do you even look at it as a business? It would be weird for you if you say no because you've been a signed artist, man.
Yeah. No, I don't.
You don't?
I've
always felt that about you, you know? And it's frustrating.
I see the business moves I can make off of it. You know what I mean? So I can do work with brands and stuff like that. But the music is, if it was really up to me, man, I would love that everyone can just hear the music for free. If I was able to like have some way that everyone around the world could just hear this music for free, I'll definitely do that.
Doesn't that make you let me use this word, you know, it is a word. Yeah. Doesn't that make you a frustrating artist to work with then? Because let's say you have a manager and the manager is, managers or even a business manager or whatever, personal, everyone around you is like, but the money, ASAPH, man, you're popping. We get it. We see it.
No, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Whatever we need to do to keep the brand afloat, when I think about it, I see it and it makes sense to me. And it's something that I say, no, yes, this makes sense for us to do this, to be able to get money coming into the brand. You know what I mean? I won't just do anything. You get me? There will be some parts where I will tell a manager, I will tell someone who wants to work with me, that's not really who I am. You know what I mean? That's not really what I'm about. So I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, I could be receiving cars too. You feel me? but that's just kind of not what I'm about.
Would you say that mindset has caused you to lose some opportunities, or like it has slowed you down in your career? The fact that you're not as business minded as people would love you to be, or as the sport of hip hop in this current
generation. No, I don't think I really. No, I don't think I really. It made me lose. You know what I mean?
Because
I wouldn't say that I was totally oblivious to business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So no, I wouldn't say that I regret any of the business moves that me in my right mind with my right understanding took. You know what I mean?
I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. So you have no plans on changing the way you move business-wise going forward? Because I mean,
going forward, I won't be in the field forever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I want to open up platforms. I want to really get into like mentorship. So, and just growing up, you know what I mean? I want to get married. I want to start a family. I think my point is it's not going to come from the music. So you know what I mean? It's not going to come from the music. Just mentorship for young boys. You know what I mean? To see like how to be a man, how to be a boy, what's important.
So it's not even in the music space. Like,
not that doesn't necessarily have to be in music.
Someone would be
even like with that's cool. Like maybe I would say in a creative space. You know what I mean? In a creative space, if you want to, because it's like dying to create. You feel me? Whether that's like for those who are dying to create in a context of being from Bulawayo, I just have a heart and a passion for this city, you know, for this country, and I feel like if everyone is to look out, of course, there's that whole thing of where you can go out and you're shining, from America, and people, you'll inspire them. You know what I mean? But I feel what people really need is someone they can hold, feel, and touch to really believe, like, oh, which means I can do it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, that's how can I just help kids in a creative space who want to express and feel like they can't, or feel like, you know what I mean? Like, that's for me.
Yeah. Like for
someone of your stature, right? Someone who can do a feature with anyone. You actually don't have to leave Bulawayo to make an impact elsewhere. Like you can collaborate,
and that was the point that I had earlier.
And things like that. You can earn royalties from contributions from overseas, in a sense.
No, don't get what I'm saying twisted. Like, of course, when it comes to making sure I get royalties, making sure I get paid for performing, making sure I'm doing brand partnerships and everything, I stay on top of that. You know what I mean? But I don't make it to a situation where that is my driving inspiration for making music. That's just what I'm saying. So I'm making sure that I'm making the right decisions business-wise, but that's not the first thing that I consider when making a decision.
Yeah, but that doesn't really affect just you, because like you said brand ASAPH, right? Yeah. There's producers, there's people who do features. Yeah. If everything in brand ASAPH is sort of like functioning correctly and royalties are coming in, partnerships, everyone contributes. But if brand ASAPH says, brand ASAPH is not about the money, then everyone downstream
I think
kind of suffers.
Think he's saying he's not about the money. He's saying he's not about the money, but he's not saying he's not about the money.
It's not my driving force.
You know what
I mean? Yeah. I won't do a campaign that I don't believe in just because the check is good.
So tell me,
I'm just saying, from the music that's come out so far, like from the back catalog that's there, from King's Villa, from People's Rapper, what's been coming out so far? Because a lot of the music.
What do you mean by what's been coming out so far?
If I discover an artist, like for example, let's say I've just discovered Tyler the Creator. Yeah. Like I go to Spotify, there's a section that says there's an entire back catalog. Yeah. So if I stream a Tyler the Creator song from Gudala, the person who produced, the person who wrote the song makes money because there is an existing back catalog. Yeah. Or if I'm like, you know what? Nasty C's juice. If I'm like what Castle Light did recently with Nasty C's song Juice Bag from 2015. The guy who produced the song is getting a huge bag because of sync royalties.
Yeah.
But with brand ASAPH, why is that not really happening? Or why is there, let's say I go on Spotify, I go on Apple Music, there's no back catalog. And those guys,
that
they
goes
pay.
that goes into like, that's the whole process of the career.
And you can't do it again.
Where the career went to, and where the career went to, the type of partnerships I had to get into, the partnerships I got out of. Like now I even changed my name, so I have to like relabel all the back catalog to put it back up. So because there's another ASAPH somewhere in Iraq. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just to make with Tuguzi Flow, that was that whole thing. Like, so that's just something in the back. And also
don't you feel like it's a wasted opportunity from your prime years up till now? Like imagine if everything was properly done.
Yeah.
Like right now we could have had 5 years of royalties coming in and stuff like that.
Yeah. If only, you know what I mean?
I guess that's where that business.
Because there are streams. Like our Andre, the vocalist, are getting streams. Our Bugger, the streams are there.
Yeah.
It's just that from Bulawayo, the content is not there.
Yeah.
Like there's another artist in Bulawayo.
I don't really think that people are, and I'd be lying, you know what I mean? Yeah. But just the whole business structure for someone to come alongside artists from here and say, okay, not you focus on the music and forget about the money, but like, how can I enhance what you're doing? You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think we have strong management. Like people are really doing strong management from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that's where a lot of shortfalls tend to come out. Because as for Kingsville days, bro, I was literally just putting it out. You know what I mean?
Like you've been around for a while. You've had managers throughout, right? Yeah. You have had managers. So if you say that the business side is not your strongest side, surely you've been cheated at some point.
I would, if I was cheated, I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? If I was cheated, someone would have to, not in a sense.
Even worse, though.
No, not to know like I was oblivious to what was going on, but in a sense of like,
has there been a moment where you're like,
where I felt like I was?
Know this.
I think what makes it more painful is that you as ASAPH, right? It's almost like with Too Young. Like a lot of people who kind of know
name dropping, bro.
No, I'm just saying. Like I'm just coming back to the business part, right? Yeah. Like a lot of your fans you're not gonna say I'm gonna reach the young people, because the people who are actually vibing with you, they're now 23, 24, 25.
Yeah, your fans are growing,
Yeah, but the thing is, they now have money. Like usually when you start off with young people and you get fans, you're trying to build up to that point where the fans, it's almost like with Miley Cyrus now, where they grow up and now they're spending this. But now, if that infrastructure wasn't there in the beginning, it now seems like a waste, because you can't turn back the clock.
I mean, you can in a sense, because I do have people who are saying, yo, once that's back up, everything, like I'm on it, you know what I mean? And the plan is there. Like I said, it's just the way the career had gone, getting into partnerships with people, getting from this publisher, now working with this other one. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what caused that whole thing. But music was uploaded. I did make money off of streaming. Yeah. You know what I mean? I did make money off of brand partnerships. I did make money off of performing. Sorry that it was not up to maybe your standard or.
No, I'm just saying like it's not like usually with streaming in Bulawayo the songs go up, then after a year they go down. But with streaming it's a long term thing. Like just think about it. If your song, like with, let's just say Mambo.
Yeah.
I think by the time the pandemic hit, there was like that massive surge in streams.
Yeah.
But imagine if Mambo was still up, it could have been on like 500K, a million.
Yeah.
And with those sort of numbers, your channel can get monetized and money comes in on a regular from just that one hit. Yeah. But if the music disappears,
but that's
you might say you got money from streams, but you could have earned even more if you'd
I get you. What I'm going back to is about the different agreement. You know what I mean? The different agreements, partnerships, and whatever that the career went through. You know what I mean? So that's what has put me here where I am today.
So are you getting those back, or those are gone?
Those are gone.
Damn. Contracts.
Those are gone.
Did you know?
Yeah.
That they were going?
Yeah.
when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Damn, contract.
Mm-hmm.
When you are like, I think you're the most versed person when it comes to talking about these things, because you've been signed to a bigger item. You know how the deals go, how the contracts go, and whatnot. For a younger person who's pushing and probably closer to getting a deal like that, what would you tell them to be the most important thing to remember?
The most important thing to remember, keep your cards to your chest so that you don't have a lot of voices who think they know what they're talking about. Or even some people actually do know what they're talking about. Because at the end of the day, the decision has to come from you and people you trust. Make sure you have a lawyer. Keep it on a down low. Someone asked me this and I told them. What else? Make sure you have a lawyer. Keep it on a down low. Yeah. I think that's it.
That takes me
because when people, I think for me, the biggest thing my biggest regret was just having it public like that.
Your biggest regret with that deal?
Yeah, was just having it public.
Public after? What do you mean?
During, through, you know what I mean? I don't think we should have made a whole, I'm signed. You know what I mean? I think we should have just gone with it. You know what I mean?
Just continued flowing
and just continue and they just see because
How did that affect you? How did that affect you during?
I think just pressure, bro. Just pressure from people like now saying,
now you're signed. Doing this.
Yeah, just pressure, bro. Expectations.
I can imagine that
everyone has something to say.
That came.
Everyone has something to say. Everyone has an opinion. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I feel like I'm here where I am based on the decisions I've made. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
that's like people forget that you're a person and you're not stupid.
Yeah.
You're not here by mistake.
You know what I mean? So you
know what I'm saying?
I mean,
you're not here by mistake.
You are the people's rapper. The people kind of have to know because that's your brand. Fortunately.
No. Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. You can become this public entity. It's not like you know what everything Brad Pitt does.
Yeah.
He does production. A lot of people wouldn't even know his production company's name, but he does that.
But signing to a label, come on.
No.
People are bound to know because with most artists, there's an artist that I thought was...
Prez has worked with Universal. Did you know that?
Yeah, but not a
I think I'm talking about the whole thing. You know what I mean? I should have just let it be more now, because obviously, if the music was now being put out by someone, I think that, you know what I mean? I put a target, I put expectations, I put people to say, oh, okay, like someone told me their friend was like, does that mean he's got $1 million?
So you wanted to hide that you were signed.
I should have not necessarily hide, not necessarily hid it, not necessarily hide it, but not have made it a big deal or a quote unquote talking point, because that's where the work should have actually started from.
I mean, it was Def Jam who announced you.
Yeah, I should have desisted them and said, you know what, actually, let's not do that. It was actually kind of my idea because I was like, man, I haven't dropped. People are asking me, where's the music? Let's just tell them.
But you know, when your music,
you know what I mean?
When your music drops and we go to YouTube, like back in the day, they had this, not back, like just recently.
We're not here to argue.
I'll see an ASAPH song, right? But on the content ID tab, it says Def Jam, Sony. Like, do you want people to find out that way?
Yeah. They should have found out that way.
That's what he's saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
You wanted to make it look organic.
Yeah. Organic. Let's more natural.
It lost its organicness when people
just be uninterfered. To be uninterfered with. When people I won't be contaminated by people's ideas and their opinions.
When and just saw you, they saw Def Jam.
You know, just like with Nasty C, like they're saying Def Jam.
But it was organic.
Yeah.
He
was already signed to UMG in a sense with Sound Africa, but with the Def Jam thing,
I do however feel like it was. I get it from your personal point, but it also just served to inspire people who actually looked up to you.
I get you.
It's a moment, man.
Yeah, it is a moment. It was a
hip hop. It's a moment for Bulawayo.
And it allowed me not to put out music, but still stay afloat business wise. You feel me?
Are you relieved
that
ended?
I'm disappointed, relieved, excited. You know what I mean? It's a whole mixture of like feeling like what You know what I mean? Because I did have dreams to say, okay, now we're
What's
gonna
the
do all this, all this, all
Can you
that.
break it down for me? The disappointment, the relief, and the excitement.
The disappointment that we didn't do more
As much as we wanted to.
yeah, that's the disappointment that we didn't do more. The relief that okay, I really now have the space where it's me making decisions for myself. You know what I mean? Where it's me considering going, like what I said, just going back to that 2019.
And just be me again.
Yeah, taking it back to 2019 and saying, okay, this is what I value. This is who I am. This is who I'm not. Now I can continue on my journey.
What percentage of ASAPH was you during that period, man?
Yo, I wouldn't know. I really have to sit and really think about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I really, because like I said, it's a fight thing. You know what I mean? Well, today I may wake up and I'm like, yeah. Tomorrow I'm like, you know what I mean? Yo, I need to pick this up.
Nah, cool.
Disappointment.
That feels like a depressing thing to go through. Are you depressed? Because if you wake up, because you know when you wake up one moment,
I think so. You know what I mean?
If you explain,
and I think it would be more of because of people's reactions than anything else. I think the expectations.
I'm just talking about during. Were you depressed? Not after.
No, I'm talking about during as well. I'm talking about during as well.
Right.
I think just the whole expectations, frustration. You know what I mean? Of how you thought things would go and how they actually did go.
What was the thing that was hindering you from achieving what it is you say that you wished you could have achieved? Like, what was the biggest hindering force?
I don't know.
Word, what you need?
I don't know,
bro.
I don't know.
You're too self-aware to tell me. I don't accept that.
Access. I think I'll put it as access.
Access to resources.
Yeah, to everything. Access.
Why didn't you just move to Joburg, like or whatever, like what we were saying?
I think I had a lot going on here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel you. No, I feel you. The way you're smiling is like, yeah, I'm not gonna.
You went to Harare.
I'm not gonna
dig deep.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay. I mean,
yeah.
I was gonna ask you about therapy, but you already mentioned
therapy.
Because
I mean, I feel like
a lot to deal with.
I think
you keep alluding to the fights. What's your biggest fight, man?
My biggest fight. I think right now my biggest fight is not allowing anyone to make me feel bad for anything that I did that has contributed to my experience. You know what I mean? I don't want to feel bad about any decision I made because that is what is making me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to learn my lessons from it, but I hope you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. You know what I'm hating? What I hate about how this is sounding? It's starting to sound like we're talking about that period of your time as if it was a failure.
You know what I mean?
Which I don't believe it was.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
There were certain things that failed, certain things that worked. Maybe if we look at it like that, because I also don't want to look at it like, you know what I mean? Because any other person would have loved to be in that same position.
Why do you think people keep looking at it like it was a failure?
Brand ASAPH
because they didn't see Rolls Royces and Jay-Z on my Instagram or something. I don't know.
Yeah. What did you want to say?
I mean, like you said, brand ASAPH. Like brand ASAPH is way too big to not be getting what brand ASAPH deserves. Because it's
and also, like, to be honest, and not saying that, you know what I mean, no one ever helped me, or no one ever,
the fans are stakeholders.
No one ever helped me, or no one ever, like, you know what I mean, offered me something. But I feel like all the time I brought the most to every situation. Yeah. Dealing with people or dealing with whatever. But still ended up sacrificing the most. And then people would just back away.
What do you mean, like your partnerships or the people
you know what I mean? Like when you say brand ASAPH, I'm brand ASAPH. You know what I mean?
Without you, there's no brand ASAPH.
I feel like people that I've worked with, collaborated with, weren't really as dedicated to making brand ASAPH what it is than I was to making what the collective could be.
You're not in tune.
You know what I mean? No, we were in tune, but I don't think enough work, and maybe it's selfish. I don't think enough work has been put into me by people who should have to make brand ASAPH that what he's talking about. You know what I mean? What brand ASAPH is really off the strength of what I've built for myself. And not that I'm ungrateful for everything I've done with people, but I feel like it's always been up to me. You know what I mean? Whether it's working with management, people are not willing to go the distance. You know what I mean? Yeah.
If you say it was all up to you, then all right, fine. Let's move with that narrative and say, looking at it now, with the way that people allude to that period of your life as a failure, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Right? How much accountability do you take for that?
The accountability I take was maybe entrusting myself. And that's not even from that period. That's from, you know what I mean? That's from 2018. I think entrusting myself to people. You know what I mean?
You gave yourself away too much.
Maybe, yeah. I gave myself away too much, possibly to the wrong people. So I guess if a young artist was to ask me, I want to get signed, whatever, I'll say, make sure you have the right people around you who have your best interests in heart. Don't publicize and have a lawyer. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think my biggest regret is putting trust in the wrong people or giving too much of myself to the wrong people.
You know, cousin, I hear that.
Yeah.
That is real, man. But we live and we learn. We grow.
For sure.
You know, I was just listening to the new item and you talk about did I push? I really first you're like, I feel like I really don't have friends. Mm-hmm. And then you're also like, was I abandoned or was I pushed away?
Yeah, or did I push them away?
Sounds like something that you're dealing with in the aftermath.
No, because I know like, there's things I may have done. There's things I've done, not even may have, the things I've done, you know what I mean? That maybe someone was rubbed the wrong way and was like, you know what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just trying to figure that out and say, okay, how does this go? But I feel like, especially the way you keep saying brand ASAPH, you know what I mean? That speaks of a team that's really down to go through like everything.
Like earlier you mentioned that, if it will be easier for you to move into a different setting if you have a proper structure, meaning a team. You've been in the game a decade plus. How do you not have a dedicated team?
I don't know. I think to a large extent, I think maybe sometimes as it gets back to that, maybe I'll get into relationships or partnerships with the wrong people and then everyone kind of backs away. Even if they know, even if they know that you shouldn't be working with that person because of ABCD. People watch that, back away. You know what I mean? Another thing is I feel like people, I know there's a kind of vibe that people feel like I feel myself. You know what I mean? So maybe I'm unapproachable to some people.
Where do you think so?
I've heard it.
You're the most approachable person.
I've heard it. I've heard people say that like, oh, ASAPH, yes, jailer.
But some people, hey, jailer.
Yeah, bro. So I was just like, okay. I think people are all like, they'll just fold their arms. Yeah. Because maybe I look like I got it all figured out. You know what I mean? So it's one of them things.
That's the thing about people, man. They forget that we're people. You are people. Yeah. You're a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
ASAPH, by definition, an artist, a film, it's a business. It's a brand is a business in a sense.
Yeah.
Like you must separate ASAPH from
it. True. And I feel like I haven't yet found the right environment. You know what I mean? The right management.
Even after all that,
make that happen.
Even after everything that happened, like ASAPH is still, the brand ASAPH is still at a high standing.
And to be honest, that's just, it's either because of the things that I've done or God's grace saving me for another moment where it's going to be crazy. So I think right now what it is just me dealing with a lot of things inside myself And once I'm able to fix my relationships to know, okay, when I'm getting into business, you know what I mean? I'm picking the right people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Always
when I
know.
get into partnerships, I'm picking the right people.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I think that was, as far as my business wise is concerned, I think maybe I was just making the wrong decisions by putting trust in the wrong people.
Too much vibes?
Probably. Making the wrong decisions, putting trust in the wrong people.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, your brand is still has that pull. It's almost like with Too Young, he hasn't released a song in 3 years, but he's still like, his song is still leading the biggest podcast in the city because it was so good. Like, because the talent was, it's almost like with you, you've got the ability, like you can't really fall off because you can always write for people.
Yeah, you can't be this good and fall off. You can never fall off.
Yeah,
sure. What are you doing about it? Is there like a second chance?
No, I don't think it's not about a second chance. I feel like you have a lot more moments in you.
Yeah, I mean, like, as long as I'm still alive, as long as I'm still breathing, I believe like the story is still being written out. Now it's just about making sure I'm learning the right lessons from everything I went through. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's really about not, of course, hearing people's opinions, but eating the meat, spitting out the bones. You know what I mean? Saying, nah, that's wrong. Yes, this makes sense and is applicable to this and this and that, and seeing how to make sure when things are coming up again, I've got the right people around me and the right mindset, and know how to the right procedure in which to go through things.
And what I like about you is you're not afraid to try stuff because you've been in radio. I think the whole. Sorry for cutting your question. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good.
I think the whole thing, like, I lost that bravery. You know what I mean? I think I'd lost that bravery because I'd even up until today, I'd even been scared to like talk about that period, to say like, okay, what happened? You know, with the label, what happened? Or what?
How long?
Everything. So I guess from this conversation, I'm learning like I don't really have to be afraid anymore. Yeah. I don't really have to like, you know what I mean? I guess that's where maybe freedom also comes from. Just being able to speak your truth, bro. And like, hopefully someone will hear something. And
And I feel like you can never fault someone for trying.
Yeah.
You know, whether people look at it as a failure and whatnot, you went in there, man. You took those punches. You tried. You were right here. You were living your life. You were the most, in our city, I feel like as a musician, your life was the most public thing. If let's say, if you at some point in time had been caught, or you're just peeing by the side of someone would have been like,
do you know what?
Drinking Cascade or super cool.
But you know what I think? I really think that's happening, but no one was actually telling me about it. I get to hear about it from like other podcasts when I watch people doing interviews and talking about me and stuff like that.
Like people are like, we saw ASAPH doing something.
Nah, like I saw this podcast, people are like, ASAPH is the laughing stock of the city, because people in the corners are saying such and such and such and such. You know what I mean? So I'd wonder like, okay, so how come no one is really coming to me and saying,
were you willing to listen though at that point in time?
I mean, this was a podcast from when? From this year, actually.
Right.
This was a podcast from this year, actually. And I feel like, of course, I'd be willing to hear.
Because I'd imagine, you know, at some point, like you say, you lost a bit of yourself. Was there any time where ego, how's your time looking?
Maybe I got like 10 minutes or so.
10 minutes, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Your ego would have come into play, or did that ever become an issue?
It could. You know, pride is one of them things that you're the last one to see that you have it. That's why I guess that's where the whole thing of was I abandoned or I pushed them away comes from. To say, okay, maybe did I get to a point where I was mistreating people or what? You know what I mean? Could be. I don't know. No one has spoken to me about it to say, yo, bro, such and such and such and such and such. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Reflection is an important thing, bro.
Yeah. Right, so I'm happy that I just got to do that work for myself. And like, I guess it's just about being fearless, because I get scared like, if I talk about the label and I say this and that, people can trap me in my words. Buy-in. Not even contractual buy-in, but just to like trap me in my words, and you know what I mean? Feel like they now know, oh snap, it didn't work because of ABC.
I feel like it's an important, it's a lesson to people. It's a lesson. I get that the fear comes from the judgment of what people will feel, and over time you get over it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's important to let it out there when you're ready, when you want to, slowly as you are.
Yeah.
Because it's teaching the next person who's coming up.
Yeah.
And it's showing that you're strong enough to learn, to fail, quote unquote. Because I really don't think you failed at anything. You know, you're one of the greats in the city. You've done a lot for the city, for yourself, for us, for a lot of people. So you deserve the appreciation. Thank you for coming through. And fuck the haters. Right?
I feel you.
Fuck the haters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that they're hating. They just want more. They just expect more for you.
Get that.
In a sense.
But it's, to a large extent, I feel like it's, yeah, because they're fans, I guess. But it's in a sense, sometimes it does feel unrealistic.
Which
because we're all in this city going through the exact same thing.
I don't think it is because we saw Natio, not Natio, but we saw Volt JT do it. We saw Bling 4 do it. We're seeing Calvin Mangena do it. We're seeing Night Freak do it. But then ASAPH, the biggest of them all, is still.
But what did they do to help me do it?
What did the fans do? What have you done to help ASAPH do it?
Vibe is correct.
An entire 5-episode documentary.
So does that give you the right to speak about his life and all that?
Now you're having people who haven't done anything speaking about you. People who've never been in the same room as you.
So that's why, and people who don't even know what it takes for a Volt to get it done, or for, you know what I mean? People don't really know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why at the end of the day, I feel like kind of not fair.
I mean, it's just frustrating, you know. It's just why.
No, I mean the fans are
why.
I think I have the thickest skin.
Fans are always gonna speak, and they have the right to.
They have the right to.
I get it, Bulawayo is tough, but then why, man? Why? Because we saw these guys come from nothing, and now why aren't we doing the same? Why?
But that's the thing. The metrics that we use to measure success, who's big and whatnot, are different for all of us. ASAPH uses
a different
metric, is purpose.
And I'm not Cal, bro. So I'm thinking maybe people got used to a number one acting in a certain way. You know what I mean?
Way, driving a Benz, being a...
No, like just maybe the Cal's tenacity is, you know what I mean? I'm a bit more
chilled. I do have a feel like that hunger and the competition is missing in the city though.
I don't think it needs to come from me. You know what I mean? I don't think it needs to come from me, bro.
You are the target, man. Everyone wants to come for you. And for someone to feel like for the city tonight,
who do we say
they have to come against you?
Then let them. I gladly welcome it.
Are you fit enough to go in a back and forth?
In a back and forth, I probably won't, because I'll be just like, man, you got a lot to do. You got a lot to do, bro.
Bro, let me not hold you. Thanks for coming through, bro.
Nah, cool.
I feel like we still have a lot to chop it up about.
For sure. Because I actually only got really comfy now. You feel me?
It's unfortunate that you don't have that much time. There's so much more, you know.
Maybe we'll do a part 2.
It's time for one more thing.
Yeah.
You want to freestyle?
We got one more thing to show who ASAPH is.
What?
ASAPH still got it.
What? Freestyle.
A freestyle.
Yeah. Come on, man. Give us that energy. You know what? I also want an ASAPH freestyle. I also want one, man.
All right.
I know you're always locked and loaded. Let's get it.
Yo, it was nothing but a dream. Now I'm here, freshest on the scene. In a lockdown, struggling to live. Satan thought he had to win. 4 thugs, knife upon a rib, robbery, but the value was within. So I swear they should have killed me. Mama nominated, so they feel me. Underdog is still king. I hear the hating, but I gotta kill it quickly and show my power like a Bulawayo 50. A young chairman, they calling me messiah of the game when they see the revolution that I'm trying to lead. From the city hall benches, we took it to the world because I'm trying to be the change that I want to see. It's on me. We go to war trying to make peace. I want the whole world, not a piece. Big dreams, no sleep. Berg boys, now they gotta deal with the woke mukahuru from the Miz.
I don't
Still
pay.
got it. Still got it.
Never lost
No
it.
effects, nothing.
Never lost
Thanks, that.
it. I never lost it.
Yeah.
Bro, again, thank you. I appreciate
Nah,
you.
thanks for the time and the
I really
space.
do. I really do. It's a reunion, man. The people's rapper.
The people's rapper
vibe
season.
is correct.
You feel me? The episodes, everything.
Yeah, bro.
Crazy stuff.
And we need to log in for another one.
Yeah, probably. Maybe the next project I work on, because like what I'm saying, I'm really taking it back to 2019.
Yeah, all right.
You know what I mean? Because I think it was lockdown, the deal, and then just the aftermath of dealing with myself after all that. I think right now I've kind of dealt with it. There's no lockdown. I'm independent again. I'm really doing some work on myself. So yeah, it's back to that 2019 energy, wiser, smarter, ready to.
Isn't it harder as an independent artist though?
No, I don't think so.
It's easier because your mind is free.
Your mind is free,
Especially when you have brand ASAPH.
especially when your brand is.
You
yeah,
really
for
like
sure.
using brand ASAPH.
It's not like it's starting from scratch. That's why we keep we keep on targeting him, because like, come on, like, you know, the amount of effort it takes
since
to,
then, bro, no one has overtaken yet.
it's a lot of work building someone from scratch.
If you think about it,
No one has. No, I
it was
agree.
Cal, me, and then Zui. Not that people are not putting in work, not that people are not out there making moves, putting out records, but like,
I mean, there's no more labels. It's kind of hard, you know. It's not like back then when Calvin was bringing his people up. There were
Nah, bro,
studios active.
let's not hold him.
Yo.
ASAPH, we love
Hey,
you, bro.
bro,
That's
we'll
why
talk,
we have
we'll
all these
talk.
opinions.
Nah,
Because
for
we
sure.
love you. We
Nah,
love the
bless.
music, and we want a whole lot more of it.
sure.
Peace.
Peace.